LifeBreath is my trademark, and it's something very dear to my heart because it changed my life. And I hope that tonight you get a taste of it and find this as a tool to help transform your lives as well. Before we even start, I don't know about you, but I feel like this weekend I have 100 new girlfriends. You know what I mean? So it's just so awesome. Every one of you that I've gotten a chance to talk to, I feel like taking home with me and just having a glass of wine and telling you, my life or each other's life. So thank you for that. I really appreciate how warm you've all been. It's been unbelievable. Thank you. And LifeBreath tonight will help you on 4 levels. When we do this deep breathing, it helps you to energize and detoxify your body. Within your breath, when you breathe in, you bring in chi, or energy. And so when we breathe bigger and we breathe more fluidly, our life becomes bigger and becomes more fluid. Mentally, by doing this breathing technique, we create clarity and focus. Whether it's oxygenating your brain or whether it is chi or energy on its basis, you will feel more focused and you will feel decision making is a big piece of LifeBreath. On a 3rd level, emotionally, LifeBreath allows us to learn to live in the moment. And that's I think a lot of us done pretty well with this weekend, but we tend sometimes not to. And so emotionally, it allows us to let go of our past, stop worrying about our future, and be here, present, and that's really the only thing that's real. And spiritually, man has used breathing techniques for literally thousands of years to hook up spiritually, whatever that means to you. And so on those 4 levels, I hope that we can help you transform your lives. And I always talk about kind of an upward spiral. Sometimes we become stagnant or the same, and that's okay. And sometimes we're kind of feeling like this in life. But for me and for many others, LifeBreath has helped us in this upward spiral. It has truly, truly changed our lives. Now, today's session can be as simple as maybe a deeper sense of meditation than you've been in before. Or on the other end of the spectrum, it can be very cathartic. It can be very life-changing. And I think as Oprah says, you get one of those light bulb moments and you just kind of go, aha, and make some maybe positive changes. Let's talk about your breathing in general. How many of you have done breathing techniques? Probably most of you, right? Whether you've done pranayama and yoga or breathing in Tai Chi or just a meditation. Lamaze, okay. I don't get that from my groups of men. I've never gotten that. But yes, Lamaze, and we'll talk a little bit about Lamaze in a minute. Interestingly enough, there are literally hundreds of different styles of breathing, and most of them are wonderful. They elicit different responses within the body. So don't get confused. You've got your trainer telling you to breathe one way and your yoga guru telling you to breathe another way, and you're like, how am I supposed to breathe? Well, long story of it short, just keep breathing, right? But thank you. Yes. God love. Thank you, God, that she breathed. Thank you. For those who were not here today, we had somebody stop breathing, but because she had an entire blueberry pie stuck in her throat. So where's Jeff? It was his idea to keep that pie eaten, right? So we'll have to figure maybe something out next year. So there's lots of different styles of breathing, and they do different things for you. Some of you were in my Tai Chi class, and we breathed like this, and we got energized. And then some of you did some maybe meditation or pranayama in the yoga class that calmed you. And they're all wonderful breaths. For me, I love the LifeBreath because it does so many things. It's what I call a special occasion breathing. However, most of you have some kind of breathing restriction. Most of us don't breathe that well. Would you agree with that? Right? Whether it's when you're walking up this hill, this morning going like that, right? Or whether it's tension or stress. How many of you catch yourselves holding your breath? You forget to breathe for like long periods of time. You can do that. Or somebody says take a deep breath and it's kind of hard to get it here, or it's hard to get it here. And so all of that means stuff. But all in all, the best breathing that you ever had is if you were a healthy newborn baby. Many of you have children, or just imagine a child or a baby in the crib, and you watch their little belly, diaphragm, and heart, and they do this rhythmic, fluid, incredible breath. I love watching babies breathe. Well, when I lie down a 40-year-old or 60-year-old or 70-year-old, it doesn't look like that anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I'm just going to spend a few moments explaining why. And I think explaining why helps kind of cure the ailment. What happens is life happens. And we don't know any better. And here's some things. Do you remember when you were a little kid, and then one of the first things I remember is, sit up! And you kind of go, and you do one of those, kind of, and you suck your belly in and you stick your chest out, and we think that that's proper etiquette, proper form, good posture, etc. So our parents didn't know how to breathe all that well, so we tend to suck our bellies in, stick our chests out, and you just cut off about 70% of your breathing muscles. And then you just use these poor little muscles in here that have to work so hard. And so we don't use our abdominal muscles, nor our diaphragm, and sometimes not even the large pectoral muscles. Now add to that what I call the Twiggy syndrome. All right, ladies, how many of you have spent the last 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years sucking your bellies in? Right? And part of it's our fault. Us fitness people told you to. All right, now let me ask you this. What other animal does that? Does it work? There's $50 billion that go into the industry of weight loss. And if we just sucked our bellies in and it worked, we would be doing it and it would work, but it doesn't. Our bodies are meant to breathe in and out. Our bellies are meant to go in and out. Watch a dog, watch a cat, watch a horse, watch a child. Their bellies go in and out, so we don't need to pull our bellies in all the time. All right, so that's another piece of the puzzle. Now add to that, I call this the Twiggy syndrome, add to that tight clothing. Right, you wear those, remember those jeans we used to put on? You have to lay on the bed and button them up and all that. And that sucks you in too. So we get in this whole habit of like contraction. And we walk around like this going, I can't understand why I'm stressed out. Right? And so we're tight all the time. So tonight we're going to try to work on that. And just being aware of it, it's going to help. Then there's a whole nother piece of physical. And that is, how many of you, it's kind of a rhetorical question, have ever been in pain? Right? What do? And we stop breathing. I can't tell you how many of my clients, like we do this thing where you sit and stand, and I'll have like somebody sitting down, and when they get up, my older clients will go, and they spend like 80% of their daily energy standing up, and they hold their breath. Right? What does Lamaze teach you? What does any pain management course teach you? Breathe. What does any stress management course teach you? Breathe. So it does act as a momentary anesthesia. Just for a second. It works, but after that, we don't need to be tense. So we need to learn to breathe into pain. And what often happens is, even after you're out of pain, you're still holding your breath, waiting for it. You know what I'm saying? So begin to learn to breathe into pain, and sometimes it'll actually cure the pain, because the pain comes from stress and tension. So that's the whole physical part. All right, another question. How many of you have ever been in emotional pain? Okay, we all have. All right. This is an important piece now. Just touching the lives of all these women can make a big difference. Maybe we can change a little bit in that we have become professional luggage carriers. We are stuffers. And when you stuff your stuff, it accumulates. And it's interesting. You know, one of the ways we stuff, one of the big ways we stuff, we go like this. And we put it back down into our bodies. Every single one of our experiences while we're alive is registered within the cells of our body. Do you agree with that? So who you are is the experiences you have. And if you stuff and don't accept or learn to let go of your past, it becomes like the little boy in the dike. You can only stuff so much stuff, and then it starts popping out. And you got a toe here, that's your headaches, and here's your low back pain. Oh, here comes some cancer, and oh, okay, here's the stress of the day, and you run out of hands. And I'm not saying we create those things in our lives, but we need to take charge of our lives and realize that so much of that is created through stress and holding on. LifeBreath is an incredible tool that expedites the process of letting that go. Does that make sense to y'all about the holding on? So let's kind of, you know, inside, if you're ready a little bit and ready, you know, every day, if you're not letting go and working on that, in other words, your upward spiral, you're waking up each day, putting the same backpack filled with bricks and walking around like that every day. And if you're spending 10, 20, 30, 70% of your energy holding on to that backpack of crud, do you want to be there? Is that where you want to be? So could you imagine a tool that just helps you let go of a brick or two? Maybe you can let go of 3 or 4 tonight. And now all of a sudden you're lighter and you're going, wow, I have more energy. You know, I used to be pissed off at that person, but now I feel a little more love towards that person, etc., etc. So this is quite a tool to help expedite that process. Right? So those are some of the things that we need to remember. Emotionally, did you ever think about this? Every single emotion has a breathing pattern. When you are sad, you breathe one way. When you're happy, you breathe a very different way. And so what we're going to do tonight is go back to the baby's breath where we were innocent and pure and open our breath to more happy or joyous breathing to help create that in our lives. It's really interesting. I can take any one of you, bring you up here, watch you breathe, and tell you what's going on in your life. And it has nothing to do with being psychic. It has to do with when you breathe when you're sad one way and you breathe another way when you're happy, it shows up in your cells, it shows up in your breathing. So again, we're going to breathe big today, draw in this incredible energy with all these folks, and create a better breathing pattern in order to better our lives. Here's how we breathe. Here's what's going on in our lives. They're synonymous. They're the same. If you better your life and you become more happy and joyful and peaceful and healthier, your breath is going to get better. However, you can take your breath and make it better and thus make your life better. It's like the chicken and the egg. And tonight we're going to hit the chicken. We're going to hit the breathing. And by the end of the session, you're going to feel it in your lives. Any questions so far? All right. So now we're going to talk about the session. In a little while, you're all going to lay down and start doing this breathing pattern that I'll show you in a few minutes. There are some things you need to know before you actually lie down and do the session. First, you're going to be breathing through your mouth. So, for the first minute or two, you might get like a dry throat. That usually goes away, but if it doesn't, it's okay. It's just a dry throat. You also might get a little lightheaded. We're going to do some breathing called Kundalini, where you're going to breathe real big and move for a minute and then lie down and breathe. And you might experience just a little bit of lightheadedness. It's kind of like standing up too fast. That will also go away within the first few minutes. Then, as you continue to breathe, you're going to be breathing in lots of chi, lots of energy. And you might get a little cold, or you might do a lot of detox and get a little hot. It's more common to get cold, and we have extra blankets here for you, okay? We're going to have a bunch of facilitators here helping you, so we'll place those blankets on you as you need. We'll talk a little more about that later. Then, as you continue to breathe, you may begin to feel the energy. What often happens is you'll feel tingling in your hands, tingling in your feet, or tingling around your mouth and jaw. And some of you that have done this are all going, yeah, I felt that, right? This can be just kind of real light, like you go, oh, I'm just kind of tingling, cool. Or it can get pretty heavy where this works up your extremities, works into your body, works into your chakras or energy centers, and you may actually experience a lot of buzzing, a lot of energy. The first time I did this, I had to open my eyes because I felt like my hands were going like this and my body was buzzing, and they were. That's how much energy was going through me. It felt like somebody had hooked me up to a fire truck, turned it on full, and say, okay, you want energy? Here you go, girl. So it really opened me up that way. Then as you continue to breathe, for some of you, that tingling or that energy may get kind of heavy. You might feel like you weigh a ton. Or you might feel light, where you almost feel like you're going to float off the ground. Sometimes you'll get some tension in your arms or extremities or through the mouth where you first feel that. And if you start to, muscles bear down on themselves, if you start to feel that, we'll notice it, and the facilitators will help you through that. It just means that your energy might be a little blocked in those areas, or that you're doing a lot of energy work. So those are some of the physical things. Mentally, it's a big room, a lot of people. And some of you think some of you are maybe type A? Anybody? We got maybe a type A group here. All right, so there's the type A people, and then there's some of you that are hippies. Tonight we're all going to be hippies. And this is what I mean. Let's say you start to tingle. The type A person's going to go, oh my God, I'm dying, I'm having a heart attack. Okay? All right? I'm like, oh my God. It's supposed to tingle, it's okay. The hippie says, wow, cool, man. I'm tingling. The more you can be like that, the more I would appreciate it, and you will have a much better session if you're the hippie. So just relax into it. All this, we're very experienced at this. We will help you, and I want you to have fun with it. All right. Now, mentally too, you're going to go in different states of consciousness. What usually happens is kind of, you're breathing away and you're going, this chick is nuts. I don't know what she's talking about. I'm just breathing. Whoom. And you might kind of go out for a minute and go into a dreamy state. You might see lights, colors, people, dreams. And then all of a sudden you go, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be breathing. And then you breathe for a while, and shoom, you'll go into another state. Excuse me. So just know that it's kind of roller coastery, and let it be. But I do want you to continue to breathe. So as facilitators, we're going to, if you kind of go out to na-na land, we might go, keep breathing, right? Keep breathing, and we're going to get you to breathe big, and we'll explain that, all right? So now, emotionally. Because this is a tool for transformation, and the only way that we can transform is to accept ourselves and to let go and be, some emotions are experienced during this session for people. Not everyone. Your session may be very physical but not feel real emotional, and vice versa. But it's not uncommon for people to giggle and laugh. It's not uncommon for people to feel old grief or sadness. And as a facilitator, I say, yes. All right, it's okay. And one of the miracles of this breath is you're only going to do as much as you're ready to do. So fear not. Right? The other part of the miracles of this breath and why I love teaching it is twofold. One is that something inside you can be 30 years old and 30 pounds heavy, and in one session, you can get a really big piece of that out. We're layers, but we can really do a lot in one session. I think that's miraculous. And the second thing is that you don't necessarily always have to remember who, what, why, where, when. See, within you, in your cells, grief is grief or sadness is sadness. And in the big picture, it doesn't always it doesn't matter where it comes from. So oftentimes somebody may have something horrendous in their background, and they'll shed one little tear at the end of the session and say, I don't know what that was about. I don't know who it was about or why I cried, but I feel like I shed a couple of those bricks. And I feel like going home and being creative. Or, all these different things happen. So allow yourself to just go with the flow of whatever happens, happens. All right? So that's pretty much what you need to know about a session. We got 2 more jobs to do before we go up and do Kundalini. One is, would you agree that everybody in here is working on something? We're all working on something. Some of it's big, some of it's little. I would like you to think about what that thing is. And I want you to create a word. We call it an intention. How many of you read The Secret? Or know about The Secret, about how important what we think is? And I want you to create an intention on what miracle you would like to create during our session. For some of you, it might be your health, joy, peace, love, abundance, connection, fulfillment. And I want you to pick a word, and we do it for 2 reasons. One, the secret, what we think about, we create. And the second is, should you get tired? Should you get lazy? Should you back out because you go, ooh, I don't know if I want to go back into that luggage, and you're starting to pull back? It's your little carrot saying, no, darn it, I'm going to go through and continue to breathe because I want to create love. I want to create joy, and I know I need to get through this muck in order to see the rainbow on the other side. Okay? So everybody, and I'm going to kind of talk to some of you, and we'll have your facilitators go up and make sure, don't you fake me out that you don't have an intention. Make sure you really have one. Everybody have one? Yeah? Okay. Awesome. Usually when we have a smaller group, we make you say it out loud. But we have a large group tonight. All right. The technique. Life breath is done through our mouth when we do this special occasion breathing. Everyday breathing is done through our nose because it's a heating, moistening, and filtering system. But you're going to learn to do the life breath in everyday life just through the nose and smaller. But tonight, if you want to, I want the roof to come off tonight. And I need you all to breathe big. If you think you're coming into a meditation session, you've gotten the wrong idea. This is a workout. I want you to breathe your intention in so big that it's created tonight. And the only way to do that is big. So it's going to be through your mouth. I want you all to get into a position, whether it's just here or you can lie down, but you're going to have to get back up and get in a position where you can open your bellies. All right. So just kind of lay back or whatever. And I want you to imagine from your mouth, there's a giant tube that goes from your mouth down through your body, and it ends about 2 inches below your belly. Attached to that tube is a balloon, big old balloon. As you inhale, the balloon inflates, which means that your belly does what? Out, not in. Your belly inflates on the inhale. So let's try that. Ready? Wide open mouth, in and out to the belly. For some of you, this may be difficult because you've been pulling your bellies in for a long time. So just see if you can access that. Good. Phase 2. Belly, second balloon is in your heart. You fill this one up first and this one up second, so we're here. Nice and big. Two more times. One more time. and release. Good. Just relax. Now, did anybody get lightheaded just from that? All right, a little bit. That's okay. All right, that's okay. So in words, the breath is through your mouth, wide open mouth. It's fluid, it's big, and it's full from your pubic bone all the way up to your clavicle. Okay? That's how the breath is. Now, during the session, I have brought some wonderful trained facilitators with me. These young ladies all over here are going to be helping out tonight. They're all assigned to a certain group of you. They may come around and touch you or help you. If you need something like a tissue or an extra blanket, you can just flag one of us down and let us know. Also tonight we have a very, very special LifeBreath session. We don't always have a beautiful hired group of wonderful musicians and drummers here, but I would like to introduce Anana. This is Anana, our drumming group. Everybody give him a yee-haw. And Anana has been at one of other breath session, excuse me, another breath session years ago, and I think we did take the roof off that night, pretty sure, and it was a pretty special occasion. Now, is everybody really comfortable? Great, stand up. Because I think if we don't do Kundalini, some of you are going to fall asleep. Wake up. How many of you are sore? All right. That's a good thing. Okay, ladies. So I'm going to start and you can kind of go with me, okay? All right. Go ahead, and I don't know if you all can see me, but you'll be able to see the people in front of you. Wide open mouth. We're starting here. We're going to inhale as our arms go up and kind of sigh and exhale on the way down. Inhale and exhale. All right, so we're going to put that to a rhythm. Good, now keep going. Remember your intention.